morning, folks. Let's go over this Bitcoin chart. We got some important information to look at today, and we're just going to start out with our typical macro to micro analysis. If we pop ourselves down in the weekly chart, okay. I need to actually switch to BLX. This ticker doesn't have nearly enough time. There we go. Okay. So this is fun. And let's have a dual look at the current crash pattern and the previous one, just so you guys can, draw the comfy cozy connections required here. There we go. Snapped down to round price. It doesn't take a genius to see how similar these charts are. Jesus. Like, even the pivots of mean reversion are just spot on with their accuracy. Hey, you're gonna like this. Watch this. So, excuse me. We have the initial test down on our 200 containment zone, right? And we actually bounce along that. That's exactly what happens. And as soon as that pivot is crossed, it's implied mean reversion down to the 200 moving average, which has happened in both scenarios. So now we're getting that lateral trading as defined by the compressing 50 band, right? Since when we ran at the 50 band, what happens? We compress as defined by the 50 band. So really, we're probably going to do this where we jump up and we fail, right? Since we can note that we do get the higher high in both instances. So perhaps maybe a little bit higher up, and we will get that short entry eventually with the retest of the weekly 200 once again. And then after that plays out, we are going to run up, test that 50 moving average with a higher high, right guys? Higher highs make for strong markets. As that 50 mean travels down to meet the price, like so. And then as the determining moment for the true direction of Bitcoin is going to be as follows. We're going to get sandwiched between the 200 weekly and the 50 weekly. And whichever one of those breaks first, well, that's going to be our true signal for direction on Bitcoin. Right? And, well, as soon as we broke above the weekly 50, it was cleaning sailing from that point on. It's just this perspective of scale on just how much we scaled in comparison to the previous run-up is, well, quite frankly, absurd. Really, if you take the time to notice that we are right here, and then let's actually full screen this window here, right? And let's just do this, just so we get a good scale, okay? We are right there, guys. We're right there. And then I'm just going to do this. Okay, how does this make you feel? Getting a little bit of vertigo? I hope you're getting a little bit of vertigo. And mind you, I think this is the interesting part, okay? So from the peak of the last crash pattern, and I'm going to switch this to logarithmic so you guys can actually see what's happening. And yeah, the bands get a little screwy there. But as soon as we zoom in, this is going to be some manageable information. There we go. Cool. Now we can actually see this. 200 MA is just so strong when we actually look at this. So let's actually check the amount of time it took for the bottom of this crash pattern. And let's define the bottom of the crash pattern as when we broke the weekly 50 moving average, right? That is all the way down to 102 bars, 2 years, 714 days. 714 days. Okay. So if we check the top from the current crash pattern, check 714 days, well, we can get a vague explanation. I wouldn't really bet on it, at least of how much longer we need to stay in this crash pattern before we can actually consider bullish price action. So this is super exciting, guys. We're going to do nothing for a year. Actually, if we look at this, so how much longer do we have to wait? Yeah, 270 days. Okay. So about 8 months, which stays consistent with my previous predictions. About 8 months until we break up above the weekly 50 moving average. And really what we truly need to see is the positively weighted mean period volatility, as defined by the previous crash pattern as well. If we pop down to take a look at that, all right, what does that mean? Well, we just need to see the blue band on top of the purple band, right? So that positive weighting is really going to enable trend to sustain itself well beyond any respectable level. So now that we have a good macro understanding of what's going to happen, let's check the 4-hour chart just so we can get a good understanding of, well, our short-term expectations. Okay. It is a risky chart. 4-hour doesn't really give us any clear information. However, the 1-hour chart does, because we have clear mean reversion pivots and they have been crossed. And an important thing to note about mean reversion conditions is they can have multiple signals for the same condition. Okay? What does that mean? Well, if we look here at the 200 period, right, so longest overexpanded period, we have our 200 band loaded, and it is really funny. One of the troublesome parts about mean reversion conditions is your profit ratio slowly erodes into nothing. If the slope of probability volatility does not support the direction of trending, your mean reversion condition will slowly lose its profit ratio, right? Because, well, we initially activated our mean reversion condition here. I initially ended 30% of my short position here, and then every time we've had a CCI roll down, I've strengthened the short position. And, well, you can see the problem with that. The slope is quite clearly up. And where my stop loss might have been here on the initial entry is now technically still good conditions for short entry all the way over here a few days later. And that's where things get rather troubling because my profit ratio has switched from 2 to 1 or even higher than that, maybe 5 to 1. It's now almost 1 to 1 as far as that profit ratio goes. And that's fine because I still bet with somewhat certainty that we will see the finale of the mean reversion condition touch down at the 200 MA, and everyone will be happy as we take our profit here, right? Now, it's troublesome, I know, but I'm still short. I still have my short exit above the local high of the range, so we'll see how that all plays out. It has been a pleasure. I'll talk to you folks later. Okay. I should check the YouTube comments. I know there's quite a few charts you guys want me to look at here. I'm just going to hydrate real quick. 1 second. Mm-hmm. 18 viewers. That's pretty good today. Live stream questions. I will not look at hot. It's too low Satoshi for me. I don't want to deal with it. I will check Juan and Poe. Juan chain. Okay, so this is all about defining retracement values. I suppose from a quad CCI perspective, sure, we could long now, but I don't like the slope of probability volatility on the bottom edge there. So let's go ahead and take a look at 350 period. That'll do the trick for us, okay? Okay. We're directly on top of the pivot, which means I don't want to bet on anything. As far as retracement values go, yes, sure, you can actually do a pretty good trade here. You're going to need 5% downside, and I assume you could assume local highs, right? About 20% on the upside. Yeah, 4 to 1. It's a good trade. Now we'll check out Poe next. Looks like we had a sustained trend. Quad CCI just broke. We have no retracement values. I'd stay away from this for the time being until trending resumes. Check out BCH ABC. This is probably my least favorite ticker to take the time to type in. It's so long. Like, there are companies with shorter names than the ticker of this coin. Okay, another retracement value trade. We need to look at the 140 period. This should treat us rather well. Okay. Did that load? Is it already adjusted? Yeah, okay. This retracement value right here, as long as we stay above that pivot, that's going to be pretty strong. So I'm actually going to set up something custom here. I'm going to set this to the 1.4 standard deviation and on the 140 period, and I'm going to set an alert for it. Okay. So we want to do BCH ABC crossing down value Bollinger Band meow mix. Lower band 2 only once. See that open-ended. And I want BCH long signal. Okay. That should do the trick for me, okay? We'll see how that plays out. It's kind of funny. Whenever I feel like my best and my peppiest, and I get like 11 viewers, and whenever I'm, ready to go on my hike for the day, we get close to like 20 or 30. It's like, okay, I must sit here and entertain my guests. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, BCH, MTL, and Sky. Okay. MTL. Actually, I'm going to refresh this template because I don't feel like adjusting settings. Okay. MTL, BTC. Show me the way. Also, I want to get a new webcam and something that's better than a webcam. My budget's $400. Something I can use for live streaming and for on the road as well. Let me know if you have any recommendations. Sustained definable trend. Okay. This is a pretty macro level trend, so defining retracement values is difficult. We are meeting a mean reversion condition on the macro level. Oh, yeah, we just had that weird compression. Quad CCI is broken. There's no slope of probability volatility. And heavy, I don't know. I guess if we break this price point, might try something, but it's really choppy right now. I don't want to deal with it. SPX, okay. Actually, I'm going to check the Dow Jones Industrial Average first. Secondary retest of our retracement values. Yeah, I'm still short on this. I'm assuming SPX isn't going to be any different. Okay, we actually have a higher high on XPX, which is different. That makes things a little bit more difficult. And then the other question on this one is, do we assume volatility overhead? I say no. Let's try 270 real quick. $270. Well, we could actually retrace up to this value here on the SPX, and that's what's different than the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Huh. Let's compare these. This is kind of cool. I like this. Okay. Oh, I want to do a macro level analysis. What am I doing? And then over here, we'll do the Dow Jones. Actually, let's do the 4-hour on both for now. Because I just want to point out the difference of these pivots. Over here, we have the 200. Okay. Yeah, so the SPX is actually a little bit higher to go than the DJI, which is kind of curious. I gotta check the macro level pivots here. Let's try the daily. Yeah, we have a better representation of volatility overhead here. Or rather, a better consolidation of it. So it looks like the 140 period. Because that's going to be our best bet. Yeah. Okay. This is a little bit higher that it can retrace. The Dow Jones Industrial Average does not have that. So we can actually get up to this pivot right here before further rejection. Whereas the DJI, I'll switch this to the daily. All right, we're actually already touching the pivot directly. And I want to see the 3D wave PM so I can confirm that. Okay. Also, do you guys like the ambient track in the background? I made it myself. Let me know. It's pretty much just on loop, so you better like it. Because you're gonna keep listening to it. Okay, here we have the 120 period, and that's actually looking really different. I'll show you. 120. Okay. Right, do you see how much closer that overhead is in comparison to the SPX? It's really interesting. So in the SPX, the reason we're getting higher highs is because our possible retracement values are, let's do a relative percentage, 2.5% up, whereas the Dow Jones Industrial Average can only go up 1%, right? So that's why we're getting higher highs on the SPX, but not on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I'm still bearish on both of them, okay? It's a really interesting chart. Really, short entries on both are presenting themselves. Let's check out ARC real quick. Oh. Of course. Oh, really old trend lines. That's fun. That trend line held for a pretty long time. It was pretty accurate when it broke. You know, sometimes they're okay. Okay. $50. Those are really hard to define the swing low over here, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay. 300. No, never mind. I don't want to deal with this. BNB. It's still playing, right? You can still hear it. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. Hold on, I guess I can. I'm gonna listen on my phone. Yeah, it's still there. Playing, right? You can still hear it. Okay, good. Nice. Yeah, I don't deal with this. BNB is my next one. Ooh, parabolic moves. So I anticipated the trend was over here, and what do I know? Because it's doubled since then. So I took profit 100% ago, guys. I don't know if I'm really qualified. From a quad CCI standpoint, I guess we're gonna finally see retracement, but I don't want to bet that trend's over. Okay, if we see, no, I don't have an opinion. I don't know that. I'm not doing it. You can't make me. FUSD. I'm going to do FBTC because I don't like doing FUSD, okay? Super compressed. I I can tell you that there's high potential energy. I just can't tell you the way it's weighted. If it starts expanding to the downside, might consider shorting, but just don't know yet. Okay? All right, folks, today's been fun. I'll talk to you all tomorrow same time. It has been a pleasure. Dad Shark out. My hotkey didn't work. Outro. Goodbye, everybody.